Well, it took out the pretty much the everything. The interior in this old car is not too bad, aside from the headliner, and I think the dash pad's cracked. Not too bad for an old car. I want to get rid of this spongy stuff, I think, because it holds the moisture. So it seems to be separate from the carpet, which is good because I'll probably keep the carpet. There's two carpets. There's a separate piece that starts behind the back seat. So from here back, this trunk carpet should come out. Well, I ripped that much underlay off of some sections. This is the rear section of the carpet, the trunk section, and it's still covered in, it's pretty much glued to the bottom of the carpet. So I'll probably take a lot of that off, get rid of a lot of that. Oh my goodness. Well, there's not too much interior left, unfortunately. All I want to do is look under the carpet and take the underlay out, but you got to take the console out and the seats out in order to get the carpet out, and in order to get the console out you got to take the radio out and the heater control. This one here is an older one, and the console wraps all the way up, and it's part of the radio is part of the lower console. This big daddy here is a mosquito hawk. So there's mosquitoes flying all around me, but they're nowhere near as big as this guy is. These guys are huge. Like, see how big he is compared to my hand? Well, it took out the pretty much the everything. Bunch of stuff had to come out to get the carpet out, and I was gonna check this spot on the floor right here, and there's a little bit of rust on the edge, maybe under this rubber. I found two build sheets. One of them was under the carpet here, and one of them was under the seat here. The passenger floor is in pretty dang good shape. There's way too much seam sealer in the corners, and yeah, passenger side's pretty good. The underlay was all damp on the driver's side, but I don't see any holes anywhere, so that's good. Some of the seam sealer is not the best. There's some that broke off. There's some they just didn't do a good job putting it on, I guess. And it's messy. Got all the interior pretty much gutted right now. Front to back. Even the headliner. So I'm gonna try to clean this up the best I can. And you can see where I've been scuffing it up already. I've been using this power stripper. I think it's called a power stripper. It's like a abrasive sponge type thing, and they breathe, and it works good for scuffing up the paint and stripping rust, stuff like that. So I'm gonna scuff it all up, strip the rust as loose as I can get it. And I got some products. I got some brake parts cleaner. So I'll spray it all with brake parts cleaner, and if there's any oils, they should evaporate, and yeah, take the oils off because the paint won't stick. And I got this here, rust converter. The guy at the parts store, he said that this stuff works good and he's used it before and blah blah. So I was sort of looking for like a rust converter spray like I used on the subframe. but he says this stuff here you just brush it on, so I'll try it, I guess. Got a little bit of seafoam because the old tank, I'm using the tank now, the original tank, and I just want to make sure the injectors are clean. I'm pretty sure the inside of the tank is fairly clean, but I'm going to put a little bit of seafoam in the tank anyway, and it can run through the whole system, the lines, the pump, injectors. Found a pinhole right there, but it doesn't go through. There's actually like a frame rail underneath here, and these are like there's some spot welds, and there's a frame rail, so this doesn't go down through, but there is a pinhole there. So I might put a tiny bit of Bondo glass. The floor is solid, so like I said, I'm not going to go welding in new floor pans or cutting out these, because these ones are good. But I did find a couple of pinholes here, and I'm going to go ahead with a little bit of filler just to fill the holes, the pinholes. So this is Bondo glass, which is glass reinforced short strand filler, and I'm just going to use a small amount on the pinholes. I did try that rust stop or rust converter, and I did that first, cleaned up the spots, and I brushed some of that stuff on. I prepped the surfaces, I grinded them down a bit, put the rust converter on. I'm going to go ahead and do this next. So I'm just going to give this a little stir here because it looks like it could use a little stir. I got the hardener here to hard AF, hard as frig. I got a chunk of cardboard here to mix it up on. Okay, that's probably more than enough. So I got this blob here. It's about, I don't know, probably 3-inch circle, maybe 3.5-inch circle. And I'm going to take the hardener, and I'm just going to put a stripe, one stripe across it, just like that. And then I'm going to mix it, or knead it like mixing bread dough. So you don't want to chop it up and get air in it. You just want to keep folding it over itself. I'm going to have to hold this plastic sheet. Like I said, bodywork isn't my forte, but it's just a couple pinholes, so nothing major. So there's a couple spots like right there where the paint, for some reason the paint just flaked off around the seatbelt bolt. I applied the rust converter, and there's a little bit of blackening there, not very much, but a couple spots. They say that if there's rust it'll turn black. So I applied the rust converter there, I cleaned it, I grinded it with the power stripper. There's a couple spots here where there's no holes, but there was rust and the paint was flaked off, so I put the rust converter on there, and it turned a darker color. So I probably shouldn't be touching it with my hands, but I've washed my hands a bunch of times recently, so there's probably not much oils left on my skin. And I sprayed it with brake cleaner to get any oils off. So anywhere that needs to be touched up, I'm just going to touch it up. Painted over some of the stuff on the driver's side where the seam sealer used to be, and a lot of it I hit it with that primer sealer stuff. So I'm not too concerned about some of the factory seam sealer. It's like come up in places, but I'm not too concerned about some of it. Some of it I'll probably peel off. I've already gone ahead and peeled some of this off, but if it's sticking good and if it's not big lumpy chunks, then that might be okay. Raptor Black. This is the same stuff I put on the 87 Firebird, I don't know, about 1 or 2 years ago. I'll put a link maybe to that video or that car. I have a video of doing the whole car in this stuff, two-tone. But anyway, it's good stuff, I like it. Tintable for colors. 2K, bedliner, urethane based hardener. Comes with a hardener, so it's a 2K product, and you just put the hardener in there and shake it up. Comes, I bought a 4-liter kit when I did the 87, and it came with a gun. I'm using the smaller compressor because it's the only one that I have with a good regulator, so I can regulate it to 50 psi. I made quick disconnects on both of these. The 2 filters in line, they're connected, but there's a quick disconnect here and here, so I can put it, I can just put it in line on any compressor anytime. And 2 of them should keep the water and stuff out of the line. There's a tool chart here, and it says paint sprayer. You can operate the tool, but it doesn't have like constantly operate the tool. But since I have it, I'm not using it constantly, and I also have it regulated down. This is really time consuming, trying to clean and degrease and touch up all the little rust spots, and I'm just getting a little bit too picky with myself, so I went ahead and sanded it down, wiped it down, and yeah, scuffed it up and wiped it down, so I think I'm just ready to shoot. So I'm going to shoot the stuff. I'm just going to try to avoid overspray like under the dash and around the door panels. I think it's going to rain anytime. We've been getting rain like every friggin' day, every other day. And I've been having to keep this thing covered up. There's a vent, has old school vents at the front to let the air in, and you can pull a lever under the dash and it lets fresh air in. And the one at the front is actually leaking. That's why I wanted to take out the carpets and all the spongy underlay that holds the moisture. So I'm just shaking this Raptor up, and then I'm going to put the hardener in, then I'm going to shake it up again. Well, it looks a lot better now that it's one color, but I didn't have enough to do the whole thing. I ran out. I only had 1 liter left over from the previous project, so maybe I should have ordered another liter. 2 liters would have been better. That would have gave me more than enough to lay down a good coat on both sides. Yeah, the driver's side's pretty much licked, I guess. I'd like to have Would have liked to have had enough to do the whole thing, but I guess it is what it is. I'll have to order another one online. You can order individual leaders or colored matching